Tell me, if you lived in a world where dishonesty, treachery, kidnapping was just a common thing for everyday life, what would you do? Some say that we live in such a world, and it's hard to argue against that sometimes because of all the evil that's around us. But the story I'm about to tell isn't necessarily about our world. It's the world of Skull Knight, where elves in that world unfortunately lived through that misfortune. Now, there were treaties that were supposed to bring hope and peace to the elves, but unfortunately have only now brought despair and misfortune. A once peaceful race has now had to resolve to create warriors to go out and protect them from the depravities of man. One such warrior is Ariana Glenn's Maple. She is the daughter of a tribal chief, and she is charged to go out and find elves that have been taken and that are being sold or have been sold into slavery. Now, her view of humanity, rightfully so, is pretty dour. But this all kind of changes when she meets our hero Ark. Now, their first encounter was by blows outside of a bandit camp, or excuse me, a bandit cave. She was there because she had heard reports of elves being taken there and was on her way to free them. And Ark was there because he had received a job from a guild that there was a group of bandits in the cave that he was there to dispose of. Now, when she first gets there, she sees Ark coming out of the cave with sacks over his shoulder of the loot he had just got. Without thinking too much on it, she charges him with blades drawn, slicing left and right at him. Ark's barely able to dodge and block with his own blade. As they're fighting, she's accusing him of banditry and taking the elves. Arch is responding that he's not a bandit and he has no idea what she's talking about for the elves. But she doesn't believe him and continues her fight. This fight continues for a good while until finally Ponta steps up onto Ark's shoulder, where Ariana sees her and stops. The reason why she stopped all of a sudden is because that creature is a spirit creature known as a cottontail fox. And these creatures, they're very cautious around people, and rarely do they like to come by elves, and almost never if it's a human. So seeing it on Arch's shoulder really kind of shook up Ariana, especially since he was a human. Like, why would such a creature be with a human who does such horrible things? You kind of see that thought process going through her mind at that moment. Arch explains the story that he helped out Ponta, and now that they're pretty good friends. Seeing how the two interact, Ariana puts her blades down and apologizes to Ark. Ark accepts the apology and understands that the situation looks kind of strange, that he was just really there because of a mission for the guild, because he was there to remove the bandits in the area. He proceeds to ask her, so what brings you here? Why are you coming to this cave? Which she then tells him about the plight of the elves that have been taken, and follows it up by saying that, as you probably likely know, elves get sold into slavery because of a high price, which he replied that he actually didn't know. Surprised, she's like, oh, well, now you know. And he tells her that there's no elves in the caves. She appreciates the info and starts to leave, which he then stops her and offers his assistance in hunting down the elves, which she immediately rejects. Because, well, for one, he's a human. Like, you are the main cause for what's going on, so I can't really blame her. She doesn't really trust you all that much, and there's a situation for the elves to take care of. And two, you're in a knight's armor. If you look at the armor sets of the two, she's definitely more built for running and quick movements, where you're more of a heavy set knight. So in her mind, you're just going to slow her down. So I can't really hold her fault for either. Before Ark can follow it up to make any counter arguments, she is gone. This doesn't stop Ark. He resolves himself that he is going to help this maiden, as stated here. Now, it's a good thing to help people out. I don't know if you should necessarily follow dangerous women around and keep on helping them when they clearly told you not to, but maybe it'll work for you. I don't know. He's definitely going to give it a try. So the next day, he goes to the mercenary guild, and they tell him that there's an elven forest close by that might have the elf that he's looking for. He heads there immediately, and as he's searching, he comes across some slavers kidnapping children. Before Ark can react to them, Ariana shows up and starts slaying the bandits left and right. But before she can get too far, a young man by the name of Hugo, who is the son of the lord that's actually been behind a lot of the issues that have been going on. He was the one who hired the bandits that almost killed Lauren. He was behind the Basilisk that Ark slayed in the previous episode, and now he is in charge of the slave trade. And all this is just wrapped up in some political intrigue with him and some princes, some power dynamics between the Western and Eastern empires to make their wars more easier. It's all kind of interesting, but not really. It's a nice little basic set for the world, but not too interesting. There is apparently a princess by the name of Yuri that is also very concerned for the elves, and if she gets wind of what he's doing, that could bring doom to his entire business model. So it's all kind of hush hush right there. Which also probably explains why there's such a high price for elves, because it's not really approved of by the state, but I guess they haven't actually cracked down on it quite yet. This son of his is sadistic. Just right before this, before Ark and Ariana showed up, he was taunting one of the elf girls that if she begged him, he would release her friends, which she did so with tears in her eyes, and immediately he stabbed her with the tip of his sword, causing her to bleed, and laughed as they carried her back to the wagon. Now once more, he has his blade drawn towards the same girl's chin and slices her cheek, warning Ariana that if she didn't drop her weapons, there'd be a result far worse than she would like. Ariana, having no choice, lets her weapons fall. At this moment, our hero Ark charges in and knocks the young man into a nearby tree. Looks like he's at least unconscious, not sure if he's dead. But now that the girls are safe, Ariana is able to pick up her blades and finish off the rest of the slavers. With them dealt with, they quickly unload the girls from the wagon and start checking them for wounds, which Arch starts to heal. And they also find something strange on their necks. It's a mana eater. Apparently this one collar is enough to prevent elves from casting any of their spirit magic. Unfortunately, it takes a skilled magic user to remove the collar, and Ariana doesn't have the skills for it. Arch, on the other hand, just comes over, says, why don't we just remove it? Raises up a hand and takes it off. Without even so much as saying a word. Well, I think he said uncursed, but that's pretty much it. And the collar just fell right off her and all the rest of the girls. Shocked, Ariana just watches in amazement, wondering who the heck this guy is, because spells like that usually take a long incantation, not just one word. So definitely a pretty powerful magic user. She's starting to get the hang of it. Anyway, she calls for a group of elves to come and escort the children back home. Once that's done, she receives another message saying that they found a lair for where more of the elves have been taken. She asks Arch if he would be willing to accompany her on this mission, which he replies he will, and the two of them will set off on the next episode. So what are my thoughts for this episode overall? I think it's a pretty decent episode. We get some interesting world development, a darker side that shows to what was amounting to just a light anime. So I'm enjoying it so far. The fan service was decent. I like Ariana's design, and I thought it was pretty good overall. The political intrigue, yeah, it's serviceable. Not much there, but it works for what we needed. So yeah, that wraps up the episode. I give it about an 8. We had some nice world development. We got another character that has an interesting backstory. We had to expand our world on the politics a bit, so I give it a solid 8. Now, if you guys could leave a like and comment on what you think I can do to improve these videos, I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye.